Okay, Monday, March 8th, part 2. This particular video is going to be strictly on the meeting room. I'm going to label it the meeting room so you can reference back if you have questions in the future. So first thing, guest calls, asking about the meeting room space. I usually qualify the call, figure out what date, how many people, and which meeting room they would prefer. We sell 2 meeting rooms currently, combined meeting room and the flex room. The flex room is a boardroom style that can accommodate, ideally right now is going to be around 12 people or less. We can get 15 to 16 in there, but there will not be social distancing in that situation. And so I would definitely let them know that. So that's the flex room. The combined room, there's a lot of different seating arrangements that we can do in there. And if you aren't familiar with those, please have a conversation with me. Please read through the meeting room book. But you'll hear me reference rounds, classroom style, and theater style. Those are the typical ones for meetings. We also do kind of a U shape that a lot of people ask for. Again, if you're not sure what that means, please check with me or check in the meeting room book. So on the meeting room book, there is a binder that is kept with the other binders in the top drawer in the back office, or where some of your cleaning supplies are. It's going to say meeting room along the side. I know most of you know this, but this video might be used one day by somebody who's brand new. So, meeting room binder. In the meeting room binder, in the front, in the flap, are going to be these meeting room rental sheets. These are very important. And if you happen to get in there recently, somehow we got a batch of the old ones in here, you don't want to use those. So I made sure to pull those out and put just the new ones in there, and I did some updates on it. The first page that's in a pocket in the front, it's going to be a bunch of paragraphs. It explains a little bit about the meeting room spaces that we have. So that's super helpful. You need to read through it if you don't feel comfortable selling the meeting room right now. Easy peasy, flex room. Flex room is $125 flat forever. That's just the only rate we've had there. Occasionally, if somebody has guest rooms or they're using it on a regular basis or we're just not getting much activity, I will discount it, but that does need to go through me. I have allowed some of our larger companies, Sparbo, Opal Foods, Mountain States, those guys, to use that room if no one else has reserved it for no charge and based on the number of rooms that they have. So in other words, they give us a ton of business. They're some of our top companies. If they need to use a meeting space and no one else has rented it, we can certainly let them use it. So I usually wait till day of on those situations. And that they know that. They don't usually ask us ahead of time. They'll ask like a day or two ahead, and that's fine. But otherwise, if we're discounting it for anybody besides our big companies, we want to direct that to me. And I would say let me know, too, if Mountain States or somebody like that is using that space, because it does help me to know what's being used, when we're quoting rates and things like that. So that is the flex room. The combined room, right now we are allowing up to 50 based on COVID rules. There are typically 3 seating styles in there. There is classroom style, there is rounds, and there is theater style. So one thing that's important to let guests know is 50 people on classroom style, I wouldn't even recommend it. I would if I were taking the call, I would probably say, I don't feel this is a good fit for you. Those people are going to be super cramped. And especially with COVID rules, I don't really want to do it. If you have a special situation, maybe check with me. Rounds, we can do 50 people, but 35 to 40 is probably more ideal. If we were doing 50 people, they're not going to have much room to move around, if they needed some sort of open space. So like a party situation with that many people is not a really good idea. Maybe just like a dinner or something like that. So 35-ish is great for rounds. Obviously anything less on any of these is great too. Theater style, we have had as much as 100 people in their theater style and it worked okay. So 50 people theater style, easy peasy. And when COVID rules start getting lifted, we will go back to allowing more people in there too. So if they're asking for the far out future, you can say, hey, as COVID rules changes, so are ours. It does go over some of that information about setup in here. So please read in the binder too and get more information that way. So right now, for 2021, that's where we're at, March and April, I am allowing the combined room to be sold for a flat $300. Beginning in May, currently to the end of the year, it may change later, but May through December as of right now is going to be flat $400. Remember to read through all the things that are included. Let folks know what's included. Projector screen we don't charge for. We don't charge for coffee and water bar. We don't charge for notepads and pens. Wi-Fi is included. There is even a microphone. I have to figure out how to use it. Lots of options. Those are going to be on this sheet. So now you have confirmed that they want this space. This is what you're going to do. You're going to write it on the calendar. And make sure to specify which room. Start times and stuff are great too, but we're going to put that on here as well. You are going to fill out this sheet. And basically, if you fill out this sheet, you should be able to do the computer reservation based on this sheet. So we're going to fill out this sheet. We're going to put what room, what group, what kind of group, contact info, start time, finish time, number of people attending, and then we're going to ask them which items they want. Do they want the coffee and water bar? Do they need a TV hookup for a laptop for the flex room? In the combined room, do they want the projector and screen? Do they need notepads and pens? We can add a soda variety for about $15 for the flex or $25 for the combined. We can even add breakfast at $5 a person. I don't usually offer breakfast, especially because our breakfast is kind of not great right now. If they ask, I still want them, I want you guys to be able to offer it if they ask. We can provide an HDMI cable. It is possible now that we're getting more meetings that I'm going to purchase some other cables because we had an issue recently. But currently we have HDMI cable and that's it. If they ask for anything special and you feel like it's something we can accommodate, or I'm here and you ask and I say, yeah, add it on there, we can add that as well. Or it's a great spot for notes, like catering at noon or something like that. I, at the bottom, want to know the date they reserved with you, who you are, who took this information. In case we have questions, we can go say, hey, did they say blah, blah, blah? This, for right now, is going to go at the very front of the binder. I will be purchasing in the next week or two the calendar that we used to use. The old calendar is still in here. We're going to leave it in there for right now. Once we have the calendar, you're going to want to punch holes in that sheet and put it in the binder. The next step is payment. That we do require the computer for. If you're really fancy, put it straight in the computer while you've got them on the phone. If not, we can write it down and then plug it into Opera and then scratch it out here. We don't necessarily want computer or credit card numbers floating around, but sometimes it's hard to be in 3 places at once. So I've definitely done that too, where I'd write it down and then black it out as best I can once I get it into the computer. If you're fancy enough and you've got your computer up and you can plug it into the computer at the same time, right on. So again, the computer reservation is the last step. Keep in mind that there isn't a set meeting room room code. We use PM, which stands for Postmaster. So you would kind of book it, say you just pull King Bed and you put all the reservation info in. And then before you save it, the room code, you would change, KNGN or whatever to PM. And you do want the rate to charge, the RTC, to also be PM. You don't want to leave it at King Bed. The rate itself should be 0 because we are charging a flat rate. We are not charging a room rate, which is going to add taxes. So you're going to change that to 0. If you want to really make me happy, in the company section, I like to put which room they're in. So either meeting room or flex room or combined room. I like to put that in the company section, because when we are looking at our arrivals on that day, we're going to know exactly which room they're coming into, and that's awesome. So the last step is, ideally, you're going to transfer as much of the information from this sheet into the comment section in that reservation. That's just going to help all of us and help the person that, on the day of, know what that group needs. I hope that I have answered all the questions about meetings. If I have not, definitely let me know. Actually, there was one more step that I did miss. On this paper, it does ask, right about in the middle, how they want it arranged. Boardroom classroom rounds is what this says. Again, we can also do kind of a U shape, which a lot of people have been asking for. Or if they want something specific, they can tell us. The big thing is, if they want something weird, please let them know. You know what, I'm going to have my manager follow up with you so that we can get this figured out and make sure you get the setup that you're looking for. Some folks are really specific, and if you do get one of those on a meeting room call, it's not the end of the world if you say, hey, you know what, I want to make sure you get this right. Let me have my manager reach out to you so we, ensure that we have all the right information. Easy peasy. Pretty sure this video has gone over, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Ask me if you have questions. Thanks.